Hello there, welcome to the channel. Hopefully welcome back if you've seen any of the stuff I've produced before, and welcome to any newer folks as well. So we've been doing a lot of work on the heavy metal clarinet stuff recently, getting a serious fuzz sound together with the Jackson Audio modular fuzz. Let's see if we can get that guy in there a little bit. There we go. Doesn't spoil the view of anything else, I don't think. We've got samples from the contrabass clarinet that we've been using to design sounds on the fuzz, and we've also been doing a little bit of work using this returning guest here, the Superego Plus. Now, before we were getting into a little bit of my envy of all those guitarists that can get awesome sustain, and I was putting the Superego Plus before the fuzz. The idea being that it would enable me to have an extended sustain with something that sounded similar to what the contrabass sounded like. So in other words, the extended sustain would sound similar to the clarinet tone, at least the clarinet tone through the fuzz. Hopefully that's clear. Now, another thought that occurred to me is, why does that have to be the case? Why do I need to have my sustain sound the same as my normal clarinet tone through the fuzz? And that's why we're here. We've got the Superego Plus again, but this time in the effects loop we've got good old zvex Fuzz Factory, my first fuzz pedal. Things only got worse from there, in the good sense of worse, of course. We've got a little setting there on the Fuzz Factory from previous usages. We're not going to fiddle around with that too much today. Our main focus is going to be on the Superego Plus. And I think we're just going to dive in. The sample that we're going to use is of the bass range stuff from... Actually, do you know what? Forget that. We're going to use the full range sample that we've been using to design a tone with the fuzz. So let's have a listen to that first of all without any fuzz, and boosted just a little bit so that it's hopefully a little bit more readily audible than it would be usually. That's the bass range. Low mids. Back to the bass again. And now into the sub bass. And now with the fuzz. And there we go, that's going to be cycling through that. A couple of things I think I should mention. It's the goat's head or goat head module that we've got in the fuzz, the last one that we were working on. Also, you probably noticed the sentry going off and on. That is another of the advantages, I think, of putting the Superego Plus after the fuzz, the main fuzz settings, because it means that we're less likely to get clicks and things like that from the sentry. I'm sorry, from the contrabass and the fuzz. Now, that's not entirely true, which brings us to the Superego. Just so that you know, we are on the auto mode, which is kind of like a piano. When you've got the sustain pedal held down, it will just take everything and sustain it. At the moment it's infinite decay, but we're going to bring that down just a smidge as an example. So here we go, engaging auto mode. No fuzz at the moment. This is just the Superego Plus on its own. Okay, for some reason we're not getting anything on the Superego here. Or we are getting something and it's very quiet, maybe. Okay, this is exactly the point that I was hoping to make. So, the threshold was something that we had a problem with before with the Wally Plus, because the clicks from the Wally Plus as a looper with the switch there, the switch on it, were actually it was triggering the Electro Harmonics Superego Plus to do nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the volume back down there. The solution to that is to turn the threshold up so that things like clicks are not getting registered so much. So let's try that again. So trust that to be the part of the sample that has the sub-bass stuff. Now, you can hear how that was all captured by the Superego Plus there, because we put the threshold up. And maybe that's something that we need to work on a little bit more. Also, you notice we've got all the layers up there, which means that it will basically take everything. There's no limit to how many different sounds it will take. Now let's try with some higher notes. There we go. That is all working well and good. What we're going to do is we're going to turn the decay up. Oh, hold on, let's get rid of all of that. There we go. And we're back. What we're going to do now is we're going to capture some sounds in the infinite sustain and play with the fuzz. So that's all holding infinitely. That's all holding infinitely. Now let's fuzz. Not quite as dramatic as we were hoping for, But I think that that's part of the problem with the Superego, is that when it's holding multiple notes, it does tend to get very messy and muddy like this. And there's not much we can do, you know, like, it's just like what fuzz is going to do to that kind of sound. So, yeah, we're not going to worry about that too much. What we are going to do is get rid of that and put layer all the way down so that it's just capturing one sound at a time, which is, you know, kind of what we want with this. Now we've still got the fuzz going, so let's turn that back on, see where we are with the sample. There we go. I mean, it's rough as fuck, but that's fuzz. I think that's also the nature of the Superego's freeze sound. Like, you can see how it's pretty rough like that. Like, it's got micro vibrations in it. That's a little bit of a cleaner one, but still. Now, another thing that we can do is, let's turn the fuzz off. We can put on the effect of a filter. That's really nice, actually. That creates some real nice possibilities. But like, you can hear how when we turn the Superego sound into something a little bit more pure, like sine wavy pure, we get a really nice kind of active fuzz there. Nicer than that. Maybe we can change that with the resonance of the filter. I mean, we don't really need a particularly resonant filter, I don't think. But let's play with that a little. That's really quite nice. But still, not necessary. Yeah, that's pretty delicious to my mind. Let's try some other notes. Oh yeah, when it's low notes, that really helps tidy things up. I do love those micro vibrations though. So that's a filter, with and without, on a particularly low note. Let's try another note, maybe. maybe we want to put the threshold up a bit higher. I don't think we want any gliss between notes, at least not for this trial. We tried that before and it was a little bit complicated. But yeah, it's almost like a sun effect there. Very nice. We appreciate that. Maybe we'll be going into some higher notes now. And I mean, there's room to improve the setting of the fuzz, and maybe even get a different fuzz pedal that's got a little bit more variety to it. I am seriously into this. Again, this has still got the filter on it. Yeah, that makes a huge difference. We may have to get a nice filter pedal. There we go. Well, that's a lot of fun. There's a couple of things more I want to explore. One of them is the effects that we can add on. So there's filter, but let's go into the mode. I can't remember what the mode is called, but it's the one where basically you can use the Superego's effects as an independent multi-effects pedal. I mean, such a well-designed pedal. Really just awesome. I love it. But if we go into something like Echo and turn it on, now it's behaving basically like an effects pedal. It will add the fuzz on as well. Let's turn that off just for a second so you can hear. You can hear the echo there if we make the time bigger. Turn up the volume level there. Yeah, I think that kind of speed is good. Maybe a little slower. Actually, I liked where it was. Okay. And then with the fuzz. Yeah, that's quite long, that's the trouble. These, I mean, the effects are great, but they aren't as flexible as one would like, ideally. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit, which I think basically means it fades out sooner. Okay, so that gives you an idea. But now turning that off, we'll go back to auto mode, and the same one we were using before, and this effect is going to be included in the freeze. I believe that it goes on at the same time as the freeze. Let's find out. Let's just mess around a little bit. So I suspect what we're going to get is we're going to get the echo on top of the frozen signal. So mixed in the same way that, you know, like a guitarist would, like, you know, like psych metal or something like that. I mean, even some, you hear it where they use, I believe it's tape echo that O'Malley has a particular preference for. So let's see how the echo sounds. We've got the decay set up, not so long, but yeah, you can definitely hear the pulse of the echo in there. And let's put it a little bit longer, put this a little bit longer, mix up a little bit more, see what we can get. Okay, let's see how the delay operates. Maybe it continues after the decay is finished, maybe? Let's see. That's quite a nice effect. But yes, it's the decay goes into the echo, is the way it seems. Let's try that one more time. Yeah, that's got some interesting structure to it. Okay, I am noticing how much I like having some filter on that to make the sound a little bit more subtle and manageable, but that's something that we can think about later. Before we finish up, what I would like to do is add a little bit of detune, see how that sounds, and maybe just play with phaser or flanger a little, just for fun. Let's do the detune first, because I'm rather curious about that. So let's go for a maximum detune and like mixed, about 50-50. And let's have a quick listen to how that would sound with the oh, that's got the fuzz on it as well. That's lovely. Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. I want to hear that on the actual frozen signal. Let's turn it back up. And now with the fuzz. That's really evil. Oh. I mean, detune just on the signal is quite nice. Again, it would be nice to have a filter, I think, but Okay, again, some really nice effects. Let's move on to flanger, phaser, and see how we feel about those. But my goodness, I'm enjoying this very, very much. I really, really am looking forward to being able to incorporate this into songs and things, and like creating unique, personal, frozen signals in this way. A filter pedal, I suspect, is going to be really important, but for now, turn the effects off. We'll try a flanger, and start with it up there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to be able to control the feedback there, so it's not such a harsh edge to the flange. The other thing is that I believe that these effects are coming before the fuzz. Like, this send thing can actually be used as a line out, which, if the effects are to have an effect on that, would mean that they would have to be pre-send. But maybe that's a little bit more detail than we need to get into right now. Let's see how it sounds with phaser. I mean, that's a little more. It's a bit ridiculous, but yeah, it's an effect, you know? Okay. Well, I think that was definitely a success. I would like a more versatile fuzz pedal, or at least a less finicky fuzz pedal there. I think I'd like a filter on the sound. Maybe the Superego filter is usable. We'll see about that. It's not a particularly complicated or subtle filter, but who knows, maybe that will be fine. But overall, this is looking very hopeful. And I do think this is working more effectively than it was with the Superego Plus before the fuzz. Yeah, we will be working more on this, I'm sure, but I am definitely starting to feel like my sustain envy is an itch that is getting scratched. Well, I hope this has been as interesting and fun for you as it has been for me, and thank you for sticking around if you've made it to the end. Any thoughts on this process that you care to share down below in the comments, please do. Do you own the Fuzz Factory or the Superego Plus? Do you have any thoughts on them? Well, have a wonderful day, and hopefully see you again sometime.